What are the types of advisors you can get advice from? This is very important because both right advice and wrong advice can come from anywhere. Okay, you need to know who's giving the advice and what is the credibility of that source. A lot of times we get wrong advice from sources we trust because of our prior relationships with them in other contexts, like your parents or your college teachers or your seniors. Okay, you already trust them because they would have contributed to you in certain areas, but they may not have specifically dealt with the challenge at hand with which you are dealing with. Okay, they may not have a lot at stake. So those limitations you will have to take into account. They will give you the advice because you asked for it and they mean well, and they genuinely do. But the question is that the best advice that you can get? Is that even correct? I'm going to help you evaluate it. But who are the sources of your advice? Your peers, your friends who go to coaching class, friends who don't go to coaching class, seniors who've done well, whether they've cracked the exam or failed the exam. Okay, they will give you advice when you go to them. A lot of you will, okay, because you want to get all the help possible, right? It's a difficult exam. So these are the sources of your advice. Teachers will give you advice because you'll go to them. You'll go to the best teachers who you trust and you'll say, okay, how can I crack the judiciary exam? Some of them will say, I conduct special classes for students in third year or fourth year or fifth year, and I help them revise the judiciary syllabus. So you can come for those classes when I start them later. Okay. Now, then you can have judiciary coaching classes where you get advice. Okay, first do this, then we'll talk about something else. First clear the prelims, then we'll talk about something else. Right? That can happen. Parents could give you advice. They may or may not have cracked the judiciary exam. Someone who cracked the exam in your family could, or somebody senior whom your parents regard highly, you regard highly, your role model, cracked the judiciary exam 30 years back or 20 years back, is telling you, okay, how they prepared, how he or she prepared, how you need to prepare. And that person may have started preparing in fifth year or after graduation, whenever, okay? But they're saying that, okay, you're in second year, you're in third year. Right now, it's not needed. You can think of this later on, right? And you will trust that kind of advice because, the person has cracked it. But first, identify the sources and then I'll give you some tools to evaluate that whether that advice will work for you or not, okay? But these are the sources that you will most commonly get advice from. I've written this as your own mind because a lot of times our brain either synthesizes something from a mix of everybody else's advice, peers, teachers, coaches, judiciary coaching classes, parents. You will create a synthesis of all of their advices, or you will think on your own that I have been a hard worker, I crack challenges, I do everything, so I'm going to do this on your own. So your own mind helps you based on your prior preferences in selecting which is the best advice. Okay.